We are 10 minutes after starting time. I'm very happy that you're here all already, but I still miss quite a lot of people. But we'll see. I will let them in when they drop in. Um, I'm going to start this session. If you're all okay, please mute yourself. We are going to have a session to remember and celebrate Floyd Kuptana, who died 5 years ago. I am Guus van den Brekel. I'm the creator of Inuit Art Portal, and in support, with a lot of support from Gallery Arcturus and Ed, I created Floyd Kuptana website dedicated to him a couple of years ago, and I'm still working on that. I see we are here together with we are friends. Um, there are people who have been working with Floyd. There are fans and interested people, but there are also collectors, of course. I am, for the people who do not know me, I am a Dutch medical librarian, still living in the Netherlands, but hopping over to Switzerland because my wife lives there. My wife, one wife, my wife lives there. I got involved with the work of Floyd actually through the Arcturus Gallery. I'm going to explain more about it in my talk. I will be the fourth person who will do a talk. Um, I will be the host for this. And because we are so many, there we are. I'm going to admit Richard. He is in now. Because we are so many, we cannot have a complete round of introductions. I'm sorry for that. And I would invite you to, if you want to introduce yourself, write it in the chat so that everybody can read it and can find out what your interest in Floyd is, what your connection is, why you're here. Thank you for doing that in the chat. Yeah. Your microphones have been automatically muted when you came in. Please leave the webcam on. It's good to see the people when we can. And for this session, we agreed that the questions will be done after each presentation. And if you want to ask something, then there is a possibility to use the react button and raise your hand. Ed Dress is going to help me monitor the questions, and we will do this between the talks. Each presenter will have like 15 minutes max, I think, and then we'll have some time for the talk. Today is meant to be a celebration, a remembrance of who Floyd was, where we talk about his art together. In discussions, please let everybody finish speaking before responding. This makes it not only possible for everybody to hear everything clearly, but also everybody will be heard. The session is being recorded with the intention of also sharing this later on YouTube on the channel of Inuit Art Portal. Today we have 4 talks, and the first is János Tóth, art historian, Floyd Kuptana collector, as we can see, and he will tell about his encounter with Floyd's work for the next, well, we see how long it will take. János, I'm going to admit Richard and Robert, and I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. I would like to introduce myself. My name is János Keresztúri Tóth. I'm an art historian. I finished the university in Budapest, Hungary. And right after the university, I started a publishing house, which was a publishing house publishing greeting cards in art subject. I used to work in museum. I used to work in private art galleries. I worked as an art consultant for single private clients. Recently, I was working in fine art insurance here in Canada. I left Hungary in 1999. I lived in six, seven, eight countries since then, and I traveled a lot. Right now, I'm in the process to setting up my own business, and I'm a co-publisher of a zine focusing on public art. This is my second time in Canada. I lived here from 1999 to 2003, and I just moved back 4 years ago from the United States. A couple of words how this whole Kuptana craziness started for me. I moved in this apartment 4 years ago. It's a tiny one. It's a studio apartment. I started to decorate it around 2 years ago. I started to buy folk art, paintings, naive art, Canadian landscapes for simply decorate my apartment. And then somewhere in 2025 spring, I noticed a Floyd Kuptana painting on an auction, online auction here in Toronto with a Canadian auction house. I fall in love with the painting right in the beginning. I didn't buy the first one, but with the same auction house, I bought the second painting when it came up next month for auction. That was in 2025 April. Why I bought the first painting because it was like an icon. It was stamp-like. It had a brilliant, very special, bright colors. It was something I never seen before. It was primitive. It was tribal. It was full with symbols. It was raw. It was sad. You were able to see right away that the artist has Inuit roots. It was very special. But at the same time, it was a contemporary painting. It was really interesting to see how much it was rooting in Inuit tradition, but at the same time, it was a typical contemporary painting. A couple of words about my collection. I went full in, kind of crazy, and I bought average 4 paintings a month. And right now, my collection is over 40 paintings. I have few pastels and collages. But most of them are acrylic paintings. I'm happy to own paintings from pretty much every period of his. I have early drawings and collage. I have a few beautiful paintings from around 2015 and 16, and my collection is quite strong on the late paintings also. I bought the paintings from 10 different sources, two auction houses, one of them from Toronto, the other one from Canadian Countryside Auction House. I bought paintings from art galleries. I purchased paintings from private collectors. I looked up his friends, his workmates, everybody. He had some kind of connection, and this is how I was able to put together my collection. As we know, he was a terrific sculptor also. I own few sculptures, but I decided I gonna collect the paintings because I guess for me it was more special. I also love colors, so there was no question about that I gonna go with the paintings. It is a very special experience. Most of these paintings, these 40 paintings up on my wall, and it's a special experience to wake up here and go to sleep. And it is a special opportunity for me to learn about his art. I'm talking about checking out the signatures, the colors, the brush strokes, the changes, in year after year, different kind of paintings he painted, the colors. And I must say that during this year, I learned a lot by just looking at these paintings and comparing them. And I also, I'm researching him, and I read quite a bit about him. I was very happy to meet with Aaron and Hus and Nick. I gained friends in this process, and I learned a lot from all three of them. We work together. We have a secret photo collection in a Dropbox, and we try to trace the forgeries. We try to learn about the originals, and we try to bring in more and more people. I regularly try to talk to other collectors. I try to update them about my work. Recently, I was very happy to meet and talk with Mr. John Silva, and I really hope that he's gonna join us to work on our project. Couple of recent achievements. We were very happy to see one of the Kuptana paintings in an auction running at the post-war and contemporary section. We firmly believe that that is the proper section for him. It's much better than in a mishmash category with other auction house. And so we were very happy to see that Coley Abbott sold one of his paintings at the post-war and contemporary section very recently. Toronto Life magazine published an article about my collection. The goal was there to show to the world that actually people collecting his work. Uh, just recently, we had feedbacks from an auction house being surprised that people care about his paintings and people collect his paintings. And I talked to an art gallery owner who was dealing with indigenous art, and even he was surprised that people are there with this many paintings. I believe if we see the numbers, these photos from the Toronto Life article, I think if we see the numbers, my collection, the size of my collection is probably is in the top three biggest collection when we're talking about paintings, and I'm very happy to have them. Last year, talking to Nick, who is a collector and he's a lawyer who lives in London, Ontario, and talking to Aaron, who's an artist, and he was the friend of the artist and who's organizing this whole event. I introduced the idea to start a not-for-profit organization to look after his oeuvre, to promote his art, to do some publishing, to organize a proper exhibition, to fight with the forgers. And now we are in the process. We started to set up this not-for-profit. We started to talk to a lawyer who is a prominent lawyer, and he's advising us on this matter. And right now we try to put together the board, which we're gonna need 3-4 people to be directors on this non-profit. We think this is important because by the time you're gonna need to deal with a proper big art gallery, if you want to organize a big exhibition, they won't talk to a couple of correctors, only friends. We're gonna need a legal entity. You're gonna need a legal entity with a lawyer. And then later, if we generate income through this non-profit, we can, support young Inuit artists. We can publish greeting cards, posters, a book about his life. That's why we think that a non-profit is something we're gonna do this year, and I think I convinced all these other collector friends of mine. Couple of words about forgeries. I own over 40 paintings. I believe I have 2 or 3 fake ones, unfortunately. It is an issue. It is not a serious issue like we experienced with Norva Morisot, but it is an issue. And we all are very surprised that there is no special art crime unit set up in Canada yet, which is quite surprising after this Norva Morisot case, which really hit the Canadian culture and economy, and this bad news spread all around the world, and it became one of the biggest forgery cases in history. So we really truly hope that the Canadian police, the Toronto police, will set up a special art crime unit, because unfortunately, and Gus gonna talk more about this, we find fake paintings and sculptures, unfortunately, regularly. Also, we try to get right the terminology. we have this collection of photos, but we started to work on the catalog raisonné, basically, when we tried to separate the 100% original paintings from those we firmly believe they're fakes, and from those we are not sure. First, we're gonna do this in a Dropbox, secretly on the internet, and when we make progress, hopefully we're gonna publish it. We're gonna print it out as a book. We contacted Art Toronto this year. Every year they have these smaller info booths at their exhibition reserved for cultural institutions, and we hope we're gonna get the opportunity to show up there, hang a couple of Kuptana paintings on the wall, show a couple of sculptures, and print a special brochure to communicate with everybody who comes to Art Toronto, and call the public to send photos for us, show painting for us, and be a partner for us to put together the catalog raisonné, and generally speaking, to spread the news about Floyd Kuptana. Hopefully, in the future, the near future, we're gonna be able to convince indigenous art historians and curators to come work with us, because we need them, because certain things they know more and better, and certain things they can say what we cannot. And recently we were able to connect with few young, extremely smart indigenous curators and writers, and I hope they're gonna help us to put out more articles, and later on, hopefully, we're gonna be able to publish a book about his life too, after we organize a proper big kind of coming out exhibition somewhere here in Toronto. My only hope is, and only goal, that in the near future, we're gonna be able to present Floyd Kuptana works with an international standard the right way, in a manner like usually you show an artist oeuvre to the world. And then if we do this according to the standards, we're gonna have the not-for-profit, when we're gonna have a proper catalog raisonné, when we have a proper big exhibition curated the right way, then we're gonna let the world decide about his art. As you see with my 40 paintings, I already made my decision. I love it, and I hope that this love gonna catch on, and the world gonna know about him, because that was his one of his last words, that he taught to somebody, that make sure that the world knows that I was a genius. Well, let's work on this together, and Gus, thank you very much for organizing this event. Gus, the microphone.
That is stupid. I'm sorry. Thank you, Janos. It was interesting to hear. A lot of interesting points. People will probably want to have some questions. I will go into some details of the tracking and the website, but let's see if somebody has questions for Janos. I told everybody to maybe raise a hand, but let's see if there are any raised hands for talks. Who wants to ask a question? For Janos.
Clearly, I was so comprehensive that there's no questions, so that's
People
good.
have to unmute themselves first. Yes. No. I am, well, they have seen maybe the article in the Toronto Time.
That's my question, actually. May I?
Uh,
It's Ed Drass here. Can you hear me?
yes, we
Yes.
can.
Janosch, what kind of feedback did you get specifically from the Toronto Life article? And did that appear in print as well as online?
It was only online, and I got quite a bit of feedbacks from all around the world. So, looks like 1.4 million people reading the online edition, the Toronto Life. And my only goal was with this article to put his name and the images out there. And now you're gonna be able to Google it, and now you're gonna be able to see somebody who collect his works. Because for some people, it is an interesting situation that people collecting his work. And there were a couple of few, article, couple of few photos in that article, some information bites. So I was quite pleased with it.
Yeah, that was a great
I'm going
boost.
to just jump in real quick. In case people, not everyone has found the chat, I myself have a little difficulty getting back and forth between the full group chat and individuals. But just to let you know, I called Jean-Paul Hébert while we were talking, and he sends his greetings to the group. I have a comment in the group chat. If you can't find that, contact me. But he says hello. He can't join us, but carry on.
Okay. Thank you, Ed, for doing that. Yes, people can add their introductions still in the chat, and I'm still inviting people to ask a question to Janos if they want to. If they don't, then I'm going to go to the next speaker, which is Aaron Boyd. Aaron Boyd is a friend of Floyd,
Yes, who's
collaborator.
this?
I'm sorry.
Who's calling?
I'm sorry. Who's this?
Oh, you're downstairs?
What?
Um,
Yes, I'll come down. Thanks.
okay. Somebody, could you please mute your microphone so that we don't hear who's coming up the stairs? That's okay. I'm introducing Aaron Boyd, a friend of Floyd, collaborator, collector also, and an artist. And he will share insights into his collection. I will share some slides presented by sharing my screen. And Aaron, I
Can you hear?
can, yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I'm going to start the sharing of the slides now. 1 second.
Yeah, basically, and I'm not going to be doing a talk about my collection. I'm talking about, because it's Floyd's fifth, just about the experience with Floyd, with little snapshots from different times in his life. Because Floyd was a basically relationship with people. That's how he worked and stuff. And so basically, a lot of the images might not be the best artwork, but they actually each one has a certain story and sort of captures the way he interacted with people. Because Floyd was not someone who made, art on his own. He needed feedback. So, but anyway, so yeah, okay, so we got the opening thing there. Okay.
Yeah, the opening is in here.
Yeah.
That's what you want to
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Yeah, that was just fun because one thing that Floyd and I used to do all the time is that we used to like teasing each other and making sketches of themselves. So that was one of the ones he did later on in our relationship. But then I forgot to tell, and I had a revenge one that I did of him. I don't know if you can see it because I can't see.
Well, if you want to see Aaron bigger, you can zoom in on him or make his profile on the pin, and then you could see more of him. Thank you,
See
Aaron.
that?
Aaron,
Okay.
which period are we talking about? When did Floyd come to the gallery, and how long did that take? before you
Oh
started?
yeah, that'll come later. But Floyd basically has come to the gallery within a year after I started the gallery, which was 2008. So 2009, so he used to
Okay.
come in and have little sculptures and stuff like that. But when he started sort of dancing in a visual way rather than a sculptor way was 2010 is when he first had his bite of actually trying to paint. Because that time it was the summertime he came in, he had a sculpture, some nice sculpture that he did. And Deborah, the head artist there, liked it so much that she sketched it because she was so moved by it that he got so moved at looking at the actual image itself that he wanted to. He said, "I'm going to try that. I'm going to be a visual artist." But there was nothing happened. The next day he came back to the gallery because he lived about a. Yeah, they'll come later. That's another picture for a different
Yes.
story. But
This is the
yeah,
one you were talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the next day Floyd came. He came with his painting, which the amount of paint is quite minimal. But he ripped off his dining room table and decided he's going to paint it. There's nails all along, and he just put paint in between it and the brown of the table. But there's more paint on his body when he showed up the next day to show it to us, which was really funny. And he goes, "Look, see, told you, I'm a painter now too."
Yeah.
And he left it there and stuff. He goes, "Now you have to buy it." And then he left because he used to go to the gallery just to have coffee, and then he used to walk to the waterfront because there's a place he could go in public space close to the by the waterfront, an outdoor plug so he could sculpture there. And he used to usually drag along his buddy Kate Breton Red or Wayne, which we'll see an image of him too, because he's another big sort of figure in Floyd's life.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, this was the first response of it, what he did and stuff like that, just because from Deborah sketching one of his little bear sculptures, which is very beautiful. It was very moving. He got moved, and then this would have happened.
Okay.
And
So
there's nothing. Hmm?
this was his first
Yeah, yeah,
painting in 2010, I think. Yes.
yeah. And then what happened after that, we also had a place, we had Galley Artists, but on Saturday we had another space called City Art, which is more proactive for people to come in and look at the space and for street art ideas. And Floyd used to pop by when I was there on Saturday too. And a couple of weeks later, he came back with another painting, which was half done. It was only like he had pink and a couple of different colors. And he said, "I'm not a painter anymore for now. You have to finish it." And so that's where the next one comes in this one. But it was funny on that day because I had to walk down. I like going all through the alleyways, the back of the condos to see what framed and old painting. And so then I just worked with his onto this old landscape. But this was the last of Floyd's paintings until 2012.
Yeah.
Then basically, because he was still basically he just loved sculpting and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. That's
but
so.
by 2012 was a new change because he was drinking too much at that point that he wanted time off, and he's actually finally willing to go into a program. And to go into a program, he couldn't do anything. So then I said, "I'll get you little canvases, I'll get you paints, and you can do that, and I'll give you money and keep you busy and keep him occupied." And so that's when he started painting, and he's in the program for 3 weeks. He did the whole program, and so he liked it. Plus, I think the other thing is he actually it was partly I don't know if he wanted to paint or he just wanted me to keep delivering the canvas to give him money. But the other thing was in treatment program, you weren't allowed to have cigarettes. So he said, "You have to come with canvases, paints, and you got to give me a tin of coffee." But in the cup of coffee, I would have to empty out half the coffee and stuff cigarettes in there so he could give it to him. So it's actually smuggling cigarettes for him too. But anyways, when he first started doing these little ones, these are all small paintings because they all come from Dollarama. They're about 8 by 12, maybe 6 and 4, 5 and 3, and sometimes a little bit bigger. But the amount of time it took him to do it and stuff like that. But when he did do it, he was very delighted and kind of very. He's more whimsical when he first did it too. There's a fierceness, but there's also a play So two qualities of them that were really nice and stuff. And the ironic thing at this point too, be Floyd was a sculptor. He was like a machine. He could do a sculptor like be with soft stone, but the paint is at this part. Everything took so long, and sometimes he just like clear the whole thing and start again. So it's just kind of interesting the amount of play with it. But we can move to the next one because I think that's a self-portrait coming up, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is one of Floyd's many self-portrait. It's not his best one, but it captured. It was one of his earliest one. And it's just I like the thing that looks like he's got a crown on there, but it was actually tied in. He used to always have his hair bleached that color on his head and stuff like that. But the way he ended up doing is almost like a crown on his head, kind of like that hip hop right people used to do in the American. And he had no connection with that, but it's just funny. And of course, the cross on it, that's a prison cross, has nothing to do with holiness or the cathedral or whatever. But anyways, but it captured his face and it has a certain energy, a certain darkness and stuff. So yeah, so that was his first, but he's done many ones after that. But he's now when we move into the next, there's going to be seeing different ones. But he actually likes doing paintings of other people or influenced by other people. Oh, this one's a bit different one, but it's tied in with a relationship. For example, when I was talking about a second one, when I was walking past Condo and found that old painting, what Floyd started doing because there's another friend of ours, Luke Gilliam, he used to arrive at the City Art with us too. He's based in England, and the yeah, we should go back to the original painting there too. That's a painting that Luke Gilliam did of interpretation of Floyd in the front and me in the back. But he liked using found wood all the time, and so what you call it, that always got curious with Floyd because a lot of times he's just walking around and stuff like that. So if we go back to the other one now, he just got the most roughest piece of wood. There were slivers coming out,
This one?
but he said, look what I found. Look what I could do with mine. And so basically, this is what responding to the way Luke Gilliam would find the actual material and stuff like that. Because Luke liked even like to look in front of old uh, construction sites too to see if there are plywoods and stuff like that. It's actually a really impressive one. It has a nice feel. It's a bit rough, but it's got a real presence to it. It's got a certain rawness because the material is actually discovered, dragged home. So kind of got in that whole spirit too of where Floyd you came from and stuff. Because a lot of ways we think of him in our context, but in a lot of ways he's also a Nook. And a lot of times, when he made money, it would be he had to go. He still kind of had that myth that he had to hunt for something, bring something back to show something, and then share it. And so he actually just liked actually finding materials and stuff like that too. So there's a certain satisfaction with that too. So he's just doing a bit of urban discovery, hunting or whatever, stalking. But yeah, and that's about almost over 2.5 feet tall. That one, I forget now. Okay.
Well, you're looking at kind of slides per item in Aaron's collection. I will tell more about the collection.
Oh yeah, it said right there the size of 32 by
Yes.
15.
Yes.
Yep.
32 by
Okay.
15. Yeah. Go ahead. Next one.
Yep. There we go. That's Wayne's World. That's one of the guys who used to always hang around with Floyd. He was a pool shark. He's very good. He's older than Floyd, but he's also fairly good at supporting. Some people say he's kind of a mercenary. It's like it's a vague territory and stuff like that. But he could sculpture. He could actually polish stones and stuff like that. And he's actually better at selling the products of Floyd sculptures than Floyd would be. Because Floyd sometimes would be drunk, or if he wasn't drunk, then he's too shy. And there's just a sort of in between point that he could do things, but he does extraordinary things. But the actual selling, so Wayne would try to push things like that. But yeah, if you actually saw a photograph, I wish I actually had a photo of that. Maybe Ed can find one someday in the future of Wayne and stuff like that. But yeah, and one of the things about Wayne was that he had a mantra that Floyd used to repeat for years on end: artists together, or artists and art together. But then when Wayne wasn't around, he goes, he comes to carry my money. But anyway, that's Wayne. He
Yeah.
died a few years after Floyd from Cape Breton in Nova Scotia, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was one of my first ones of technically that super over surprised me what he did there with the birds within the birds and the feathers and stuff like that. But that mouth too, that's such a coated mouth because Floyd didn't have many teeth and stuff like that. So and they're kind of and a lot of them were actually gold. He never actually painted gold teeth, but just the birds and the energy and stuff like that. That was just like took my breath away for that one. So
And this is 2015, Aaron.
yeah.
Yes. So that's when he painted a lot more, right?
Yeah, 2015 was because there was in the program 2012 to like, but and then he did a little bit, but no, it's 2015 because first of all he couldn't find place of the sculpture anymore, and he started muscular and not being able to do it much anymore either. So that's when he started migrating more and more. Like for example, if you ever see Daniel's work and stuff, he had a relationship for Floyd for a long time, but all the early stuff that he knew Floyd, he was a sculptor. He didn't start, you don't see paintings from Daniel's collection, I think, till 2014 or 2015. But up the early was all sculptures and stuff like that. So
That's right. Yes.
yeah. But that mouth, yeah, that was a motif. And then later, he used to make that face all the time, making fun of me when I was yelling at him. But we'll go to the next one now. Okay, this was another 2015 one. This is another Floyd being a little bit of a bugger. It was the we're at gallery artists in the basement and stuff like that. It's collaging away, he's painting a little bit. He kept looking. I go, "What are you doing?" "I'm making a Christmas present." And I go, "Oh, okay." I wasn't bothered noticing what he's doing and stuff. Then he finally goes, "Here you go. It's your Christmas present." Then he goes, "Did you get me a Christmas present?" I go, "No, you get money from me all the time." He says, "Well, then you have to buy this." So I bought it for him. But anyways, it's just kind of funny, the image and stuff like that. And I remember years ago when I think it was Richard Mort goes, "Why is that dog biting your neck?" Which is always a mystery. I never got to be able to ask Floyd why that was. But anyhow, that was a Christmas one from 2015.
And are those stars above there?
Oh, that's right, his whole Van Gogh. Thanks for reminding. Yeah, that period, 2015, was the Van Gogh. Because one time when we were actually collaging, Deborah, I, and he was around. Deborah cut out what was it? I think it was Sun Insurance Company or Metro, but it basically was Snoopy sitting on his doghouse looking at the Van Gogh star, and Floyd was so tickled by it. And so it inspired a whole machine gun of them coming out of Snoopy under the stars and stuff like that. But for Christmas time, he killed Snoopy and he did one for me. So, but other than that, usually it was under the star. But he did a couple too, just like bear families walking under the stars too. But yeah,
Yeah. And this is still 2015, I guess. Yes, this
yeah,
is 2016.
yeah, yeah. This is when he's trying to not mix. So he painted the background, then he uh, put things on top of it. But this was when he started going from moving from Van Gogh obsession to Picasso because he thought at that realized he goes, "I'm the Northern Picasso, not what's his name." So, anyways, this is one of his collages, and I think that there's one. I guess the igloo was actually painted, but other than that, it was just all just its cuts. But I thought it was just kind of interesting the way he works things that way. So,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And this one, I just put this in because it was kind of near the end of us working together because he got what you call it, it was harder for him to work in our space because of drinking. So he worked more at home, but this is one of the last things that we ever did together. And so I just put it in for that because that's the last collaboration we did. But that was done at the basement of the gallery team. He's sketching on what you call it, creator paper, whatever that black paper, whatever it's called, craft paper. We're working around on collaging, and that was the final thing. So
Mhm.
so that was just trying to sort of capture the last collaboration that we did, but we did other ones in between. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get a flavor of the thing because there's so many things that actually crossed in with Floyd stuff, and he's responding like to Deborah giving to advertisement, the way that Luke used to bring in construction paper, and the fact is, for years, Floyd basically was painting ever since going in, he's painting for me. No one else wanted the stuff. They're just there. I have hundreds. Like if you see any one of stuff in the States too, they all
Yeah.
came from me. And it's only through that period of time when I finally got to meet Richard when he came to the gallery once and he noticed that there was a collage of Floyd's there that we started talking. He goes, he does paintings and collaging too. And then he started connecting to people like Eliot and other people and that's when the door opened
Yeah.
for Floyd as a painting, and he's no longer making it for men. He could make it for anybody. So, but at the time, people just thought it's crazy. Even my family members, colleagues. So, but yeah. So,
Yeah.
but then by that point, by 2016, he's full-fledged artist and a sculpture
Yes.
collager. So,
This this one is I think it's marked as 2018.
yeah, that's one of
Uh,
our last ones. Yeah.
there's a typo in the year that I will repair that, but
Okay. Yeah.
that Robbie know of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically for that five, I just wanted to get a flavor because there's a lot of cross-pollination. There's a lot of call and response that Luke used to tell. He does something and respond back and forth and stuff. So I just wanted to get that spirit of him. He's not like this individual guy. It was a guy who could jam. It was
Mhm.
pure jazz in a lot of ways and stuff like that. And other times later when he was doing the sketching with pastels with Deborah and Cy and stuff like that. These are all just like ba-boom, ba-boom, but they're relating. He's a relational artist, and people have to remember that too. Later
Yeah.
on, he had to go and live in his home and just work for cigarettes and alcohol, but he also liked to play too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. That's interesting. You had a pick of your collection. In my talk, I'm going to point out more about your collection and what we did to like visualize it. I'll come back to that later. I'll happily give people the opportunity to ask questions for Aaron.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I never thought about this until I saw the Van Gogh painting. But in Floyd's head, was there a connection between Sleepy and the wolf? Because now I see them as they're almost like two sides of the same coin.
Did you
I
hear
can
the
see that.
question?
Yeah. The two aspects of the same coin. It was a
Well,
bit echoey.
the wolf side is more dangerous and the Sleepy side is more comforting.
Uh, I'm not hearing very well. It's kind of choppy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
hold on.
Is this better?
Okay, yeah, okay.
So could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, the question was, are the
there is an echo on your
Yeah.
so
yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do about it.
turn off one of the mics, or you have
Yeah.
two.
Well, this one's shut off.
Well, the mic is taking the.
Yeah, is this better? No.
Yes, the echo is gone. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Then
Uh,
I'm just wondering, in Floyd's mind, were Snoopy and the wolf like related, like Shakespeare's heroes had a bad side, so there would be a positive side and an evil side.
that's kind of interesting because a guy, I forget what his name is now, but Floyd for years used to do stonework in
Mhm.
Etobicoke, and basically the guy used to provide the place for him to work at. He phoned me once at the gallery and said, "You know Floyd? He's the most beautiful, most wonderful guy, and he's the most evilest person in the world also." He could go very explosive and be very abusive, and other times he could just be so sweet and make you cry and stuff like that because he seems so sensitive and like, yeah. But yeah, he did seem to bubble up, and it's I think a lot of that's interesting. I like too about when Richard's writing sometimes talking about Floyd's painting. He actually captured that sort of dance of duality, those different spaces and stuff. Like what he wrote for the was it the Inuit art one, I think. But yeah, there's a certain like yeah, definitely. Snoopy and Wolf do have that type of yes, no, uh-huh, together, yes, one and
Thank you.
Anyone else for asking Aaron about his collection and his work with Floyd?
Yes, I heard you were mentioning Wayne McKinnon, uh,
that's okay, yeah.
Cape Breton Red. I'm not sure about any photos, but Goose, did you manage to get a copy of the video where Wayne, who had a sort of a online TV show, he interviewed Floyd for like, oh my God, it was like a long interview and they were very candid. Do you have that one?
Yes, I think we have that. We found that piece of video, and I think I downloaded it and I uploaded it to the Floyd Kuptana playlist on the Inuit Art Portal. That is
Yeah,
that was a candid interview. They were both kind of animated, I guess. Yeah. They
yes,
were not.
Aaron, you recall how they referred to you when you weren't behind on
Basically the
TV behind
sucker.
your back?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, they referred to Aaron. I think Floyd goes to Wayne. He mentions who Aaron is, and Wayne says, "Oh yeah, I know Aaron." And then I think Floyd said, "Yeah, he's good for $20."
Yeah, there's another video of Wayne where he is in a studio, um, being interviewed for a morning show or something on TV, where he's trying to sell a sculpture by Floyd, and he needs the money that day.
Yeah,
It,
Wayne was with them for that too. Yep.
yes, that's
Yeah.
all. That's very interesting.
Scammers. Yeah.
Any more?
Oh, wait, one before that, I should point out to people want to find out more of a early painting. Uh, if you refer back to what you did for the talk by Richard about Floyd and me, because he actually asked me so many great questions at that period of time of Floyd that he captured more of it, a lot of things. But
Yes,
so if you have
yes.
to relink that,
That
link about that one.
that's of course that's the presentations and talks that
Yeah,
Richard did, and those are on the YouTube too. Yes. Dana Olson. Okay. Any more questions for Aaron?
Yes, I have one. We
Yeah.
know that he loved Van Gogh, he loved Picasso, right? Could you recall any other fine artist or writer or anybody else he liked, so we get something about his taste?
no, the only thing he liked doing, and I don't know if because I liked it, is that Leonard Cohen, because he actually sounded like Leonard Cohen too, his voice and stuff. But basically, when I did a lot of working, it was always Leonard Cohen. And I told I told Gus there's actually one song when I think about Floyd, that's our song, but I forget what the title is now. But what he used to drive me crazy sometimes too, he used to listen to Drake
Yeah,
on his little phone around, especially when he's aggressive and drunk. But other than that, but I
so
do know that his middle name's famous because his mother loved a hard drinking cowboy singer called Paul Jones or whatever. That's why he got that middle name Jones.
So you say he
But
liked Drake and Leonard Cohen.
yes.
Well,
Interesting.
remember Drake has the song God's Plan, in which he gives away $1 million to people and they film it for the video, God's Plan. And that was one of the ones he would listen to over and over and over again. But also remember, Floyd would do his own version of that, right? When you get paid for a big piece, take
Yep.
everybody
That's
in for a big dinner at Royal York Hotel or something.
right.
Blow it all in a weekend.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess that's true. That's like that.
And he would play it as a video on his phone, right? Like he would listen to the song, but he'd be playing it on YouTube.
Yes. Okay. Next speaker is Hal and Donna Olson. I think they are online, and I hope they have. Is that the one having the microphone issues, or Donna? Are you there? Donna? Okay. Let's see. We have.
Her microphone is off.
Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, alrighty. Yeah,
Could you
yeah, so
introduce
Hal's here
yourself?
with me, but I'm going to do the talking.
Good.
He
Probably,
always does.
well, talk primarily about the piece you're looking at right now. And then if you want, we can touch briefly on one more piece. But I think this is the most profound piece that pretty much I've ever seen anybody do. So I'm slightly prejudiced, and we call it Pink Floyd for obvious reasons. I'm going to tell you two of the reasons why we bought it, and then I'll tell you about the write-up that Michael Forpesson did for the Waukesha show. And when I read what Michael wrote, the only thing I could think of was, well, I don't know much about art, but I know what I like. Because in terms of the things I liked about it, it was pretty unrelated to what Michael saw there. So I'll tell you first a couple of the things I liked. One was it has the sense of past, present, and future. And the past and the future are both on his back, which would make sense because he couldn't see the past and the future either. So I saw the past as being this head on the back, which is blind. And because the past can't see what's coming next. And then the egg I saw as the future because the egg holds the hope of new life. And of course, the frontal voice would be the present. That's what we see, and that's what he's living with. And it doesn't look like it's a very comfortable present. So that was one reason, the past, present, future. And I wouldn't want to Christianize it, but, you know, anytime something has three parts, you've got to kind of play with the idea of the Trinity. And so for me, it also had a Trinitarian composition because I saw the head on the back, which could not see as blind. I saw that as being what we would call the Father. And obviously, you know, the common perception of God the Father would be that God would be paying a lot more attention. But, you know, in Neoplatonism, the one isn't really paying attention. The one is just letting everything flow. So to me, that represented the Father. And then the front I saw as the Son, who, again, is not having a very easy time of it. You could tell by the look on his face. And then I saw the egg as the future, or as the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit kind of brings the future. So that was Donna. And then I saw the write-up that Michael Forpesson did. And of course, he related it to much more about the shaman than I had ever really known before, starting with the rudimentary comb on the top of his head, which would kind of indicate that maybe he has an avian species that he's fond of. which I also liked because I'm very fond of birds. And then the signs of the transformation on his face, the eyes, the contortions in his mouth, the red tongue. And something I know now that I hadn't known before was when Aaron was showing his painting of the angry chief, it's pretty much the very same teeth and the very same mouth, even though there's a number of years between when this was made and when the painting was made. And then Michael also saw some blurring of genders because he saw the back as a child's head on a woman's amati in what is clearly a male figure. So I think that pretty much covers it, except again, he saw the child as being blind and needing the stone, the egg-shaped stone and the slingshot for protection because of the fact that the child couldn't see and couldn't protect itself. So there are some very different interpretations. And I think that's the sign of a really good piece of art, is if it becomes multivalent. And I just think that piece is fabulous.
Yes, very interesting. Yes, it is. Donna, I've prepared slides for all three pieces that you shared with me.
Okay, well, let's talk about the next one. I think we'll leave the third one off, but yeah, that one. That one was made actually quite a few years after the Pink Floyd. The Pink Floyd was, we purchased it in 1999, and we bought this later than 2000.
Oh, okay.
It's a father and a son. Again, the species are being, the gender is blurred because normally women do the throat singing, but the father and the son are doing the throat singing together. And it's almost a companion piece to the first one, even though the focus is very different and there was at least a decade between them. But you'll notice, you know right away it was done by Floyd if you have seen the first one. Some of it I can't explain, you just know, but some of it is the proportions of the leg and the feet to the body. When he does do a human figure, that's very consistent. And that's kind of like Bart Hanna, you know, when you see his shoulders and his arms, you know he did it, and his nose. But I think there's something about Floyd's torsos and legs that is also unique. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that one. As you can see, it was on the cover of Slate at the time we bought it.
That's right. Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. I love both. Very, very special pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bird shaman which has this punk kind of head also.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a two-piece bird shaman. I got this from Emil Shimon. God bless his heart. Thank you, Emil.
But we heard. I don't know if that's an Inuit culture, a popular hairdo, or it was, but it was a popular hairdo for Floyd, right, Aaron? That.
Actually, the priest we saw in church yesterday had the same hairdo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very modern. So
yes.
the next one is what I call the Little Sedna, or you called it the Little Sedna. Yes.
Yes, a little Sedna. I just adore her. We saw her in I think it was the Mass Like McLeod Gallery when it was still functioning, and I took one look at it and said, I'm not going home without it. It just has so many angles and so many ways you can look at it, and it's also so incredibly graceful that, I mean, that just takes my breath away. There's just something about the beauty and the gracefulness of it. For a number of years, we had it under a plexiglass case to keep the cat away from the leather. And now we just have it higher on a shelf. My personal philosophy is that every carver should have to live with a cat for 1 year, because they'll learn a lot about what pieces you can balance and what pieces the cat will eat. But that's kind of off the subject. I just think this one's is just so phenomenally beautiful, and I don't know how to describe it any better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mr. McLeod did say that he asked, when he brought that in, he asked Floyd why it had holes in its head, and Floyd said it's so you can see inside.
Wonderful. Yeah.
That's
Heads, multiple, because I see Something like a face or a walrus on the back, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to shut my phone off and it won't let me. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
A quick
Thank you very
point,
much.
if I might. The father and the son, Floyd would call those, and he did a number of them. He would call them protection. And it was the father protecting his child.
Huh. Okay. Somehow I think that's tied in with the wolf and Snoopy being kind of this almost the same species, but different personalities. There's a lot of terror I'm sensing at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I think there are some topics to be explored in his paintings and also in his sculptures still, I think. The sculptures are very recognizable, I agree, as Floyd's, because of the use of some elements. Of course, the bone plug is something that is traditionally, I think, administered by youth to the youth, or growing older, making a transformation from boy to man, and he uses it everywhere. Yeah, it's interesting.
That's why the title was picked very well. The book Gallery Arcturus published, that is that book titled Carved by Brush, because many of the paintings has those elements you can't see on the sculptures, like the rib cage. So he did that with the brush later. It's amazing that you have all the original pieces, the leather and the bone, together with the sculpture.
Yes, it's very, very good to see, and very fitting for this session. Thank you very much for sharing that. Anybody wants to have more questions for Donna? I'm looking at the time. I think we are already an hour and 15 minutes going. And we have a fourth speaker, which is me, about the project. I will stop. I will share my other screen. Okay. As I told you, I created this Inuit art portal for my hobby for sharing Inuit art, and I bumped into Floyd in the art of Floyd while making a public Inuit art map. These are the things that I want to talk about in the next 10, 15 minutes. I want to take you to the website, go through what we did, what you can see where, what you can find somewhere. Then I'm going to go into the topic of only real art, our policy. I'll share briefly where you can find information more about Floyd Kuptana and the project on different social media. And I will give some insights in the Aaron Boyd collection, part 1, I have to call it, I guess. Yes. And after that, we can have some talks if needed. I'm going to stop the presentation now and share the website from Floyd, if you will allow me. So together with the support of Gallery Arcturus, we created this in, I think it is already September, October 2022, as an attempt to capture all his work and all the information that we could find in one place, with the ultimate goal to create a catalogue raisonné of his works. So the latest news. So there's on the front page, on the home page, there's a running presentation of pictures that we could find of Floyd and his art. On the first one, the blog page is the page with the latest news on the changes on the website. So you can see this event is there. There's the Toronto Life article with the links and some information and some pictures. And if you go back, you see the later posts of things. Changes to sculptures page and the paintings page. These overviews are filled by new sculptures that we found, new paintings that were sold or traded, and that we found out. And basically, that is being tracked on the for sale side, for sale and on auction, which I'm going to show you in a bit. The rest of the website contains an about, where it explains how we started this project and who I am and what we intend to do. So still a lot of things that we have to do, but Janos explained that, and I agree with him, we should go on with trying to get the nonprofit working to make sure that we actually can approach more people to protect his legacy. We made an overview of when his art was in museums and galleries and the media in his life, but I want to focus right now on the for sale and on auction page, where I've tracked over the years all the houses that have been, the platforms or the media that have been selling Floyd's paintings or sculptures. There's a list. It is updated daily, and because of the number of fake or believed fake paintings, we update it, and I'll explain our warning here that we have on the website, that there are a couple of platforms where you should be very careful about provenance and authenticity. So how do I go about this and checking? Well, basically, there's a very practical overview where I can actually click in the, well, these are actually Eliot's sculptures here, most of them. Eliot, you have to give me an overview what you sold so that I can update it. So I have an overview of all the platforms that are actively still offering either a painting or a sculpture, and I can just check this regularly, and then I can see what's being offered or if it's still online. And yeah, unfortunately, there are a couple of platforms that you should be really careful about. For instance, Facebook Marketplace, where we can find a hideous non-original Floyd being offered. It's been there for more than a year. It's staying there. We won't show these non-original paintings or sculptures on this website. That's basically our policy. I track on an almost daily basis, I track what is being offered on these platforms, and I actively or proactively approach the auction houses and the platforms with questions about provenance if needed. And yeah, that is a lot of work, but that is actually being successful. We have been successfully getting paintings and sculptures to my, yeah, I was surprised, really shocked that they were really trying to sell off sculptures with the name of Floyd and not even with his regular signature that he uses for sculptures, for carvings. That is, yeah, it is taking us a lot of time, but our policy is, if we believe with the group that we now have, with the colleague that worked with Floyd, with experts, the collectors that have been getting so much information about all his work, me, who have seen a lot of paintings and sculptures, if we believe, and for that we also use now what Janusz was calling a Dropbox collection. I call it the reference library, the Floyd Kuptana reference library. It contains hundreds of photographs of, well, currently mainly the Tain Gallery, who has posted a lot, a Tain Gallery from Shalom, with pictures of Floyd and his paintings together. It also shows all the paintings that we could track that were shared on the internet, and also Shalom has been sharing, I think, one or two of his phones with complete sharing of all the pictures that you can find to us. As you know, there are 3 or 4 major collections that we know of that have the original Floyd's for sure. I mean, that's everything that comes from Gallery Arcturus. If it's signed or not, we know, and we are working on getting that collection together. What do they still have? What is owned by them? The second collection is the collection of Aaron. I'm coming back that too. So he worked there, and he was interested in those, and he bought a lot of them, and actually shared then a lot of his work, or sold a lot of his work through others. So it was Gallery Arcturus, Aaron. It was Daniel Daniel Loves Art, who also posted regularly pictures of Floyd and sculptures and his paintings. So those are also trusted, and could be used as verification. The fourth is the Shalom collection. We are trying to check those collections against the paintings that we come across that we think are not real. We're trying to put a date on it, trying to find the provenance, and if we believe it's not real, we are not posting about it. We're not promoting it on our social media websites. So if you find something and it's not on our website and it is updated, then we believe it's not real. We just don't post them publicly about that. We do contact people to try to get them off, but yeah, that's what we do. And that would work much better if we had a nonprofit officially signed, where we can take care of his legacy. Let me go back on the topic that I wanted to discuss about. So yeah, the reference library I talked about. So the social media that we are using, we are actually on Instagram. That's the main channel, and Thread, LinkedIn, not so much, but it is growing. Facebook, there's a Facebook page, for instance, Inuit Art Portal, but also for Floyd Kuptana. YouTube channel is getting more content, and the older ones that are not being updated frequently is Pinterest, TikTok, and X. Yes, that's it. Now I come to the collection of Aaron. So Aaron showed a couple of images, and I was very happy to be able to visit him. Well, actually this year too, but also last year when I photographed his entire collection. I think it contains currently something between 60 or 70 works by Floyd, I think, Aaron, something like that. And I made those cards and those slides of every one, and I put them chronologically together so that you can see kind of a development, and also how much he painted when. And that is actually finished. It is in, if I can get to no, not this one. This is, sorry about that. I have to stop the There we go. Let me show the keynote. And you are not seeing my keynote screen. No, you're not. I'm going to take this over to the other side if I can. Well, you see, I tried to do that, but it doesn't work. I'm sorry about that. There we are. No, still seeing this.
Can I say something until you working on this? Why
Yes.
you working on this?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yes, there you can. Yes.
Okay, just one sentence that Gus does an amazing job by finding the point of sales, these auction houses and galleries. And when a fake comes up, basically together we attack these organizations and we try to tell them, put the piece back and don't sell it because you're trying to sell a fake one. And it's a pretty good system for now, and it works.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Janos, for saying that. So these slides are currently, I turned it into a video today and published it on YouTube on the Inuit Art portal. And actually the number, I put the music on there, Aaron, from the song that you said, from Leonard Cohen, Anyhow, from the album, I think, Old Ideas or something. Yes, 2012. That song that was there. I put that as a music on the video. Hope you like it. So I'll share the links to that later. I think that's what I wanted to share with you. And if you have any questions, we can do that right now, just to make sure that we are on time. That was it.
Guus, my question is about the work on the slide that had Floyd sitting down with a painting of a great big blue bird, almost like a goose head. I don't know. And then a
Yes,
moon and a dancing bear. What's that piece? Where's that piece gone?
that piece is sold somewhere via the Tain Gallery. And you saw that picture. Where did I put that out?
Well, the one just now on the slide with the other four grids there.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's right. That was actually turned up because we had a painting that had been clearly copying that one, the blue one, and it was in a yellow version, and the consigner couldn't give any proof other than that he knew Floyd personally and he sat on the sofa with him, not more. So we were able to take that off as a forgery, yes, or a suspected forgery officially.
And if I may, this photo behind you is with a bunch of works, I guess, by Floyd. Where's this? What's happening here?
Yeah, well, this is actually, I wanted to say that in the beginning, I forgot, but behind me is obviously Floyd in an earlier, and the other person, this is actually a picture taken by Eliot, if I'm correct. He allowed me to show those pictures. It's showing David Ruben in his house, in his place, working with Floyd in the summer somewhere. And I have a couple of pictures of that, and I thought it was a good picture to remember. Floyd, of course, 5 years ago, and Dave Ruben just recently passed, and I found it great to see them together. We have more photos of that, but yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, Eliot, for letting me share that.
I was wondering, did your page actually have stolen art section too?
No, no, no.
I've
We
been
don't
wondering about that because we still
stolen.
got the gallery, our tourist, the winged man, and it'd
Yes.
be good to actually physically have to see where it is, because more people know about Floyd.
I
Maybe
could,
we can
I
actually.
could, I could do that. Yes, of course, I could do that. Yes.
And the other thing, just talking about the logistics and fakes and when you show me those images of the fake three things and then the sculpture too, then Jonas said that might be it looks like a crappy version of the one of another one. And I did
Yep.
realize too, we should be looking now at Floyd sculptures when they're made out of black stone because black stone he hardly ever did it. And when you do Blackstone, it's very easy to copy. Because
Mm.
Softstone had veins, so it's
Yeah.
really hard to complicate because it breaks and stuff like that. But there
Yeah.
could be in the future any Blackstone when Floyd gets more and more attention. We'll say it's a Floyd one
Yeah.
and can get away with it. So we should be trying to focus on how many Blackstones are too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All stuff they put in the game because eventually there's going to be a lot of people going, a Floyd, but it
Yeah.
may not be. But it's a
No.
future thing.
Yes.
Consider.
That's good to mention. We have with this collection of images that we have focused on also, of course, the paintings, but also the signatures of his paintings, and also the signatures of his sculptures we have, and the last are really pretty very consistent over times. Very early ones might have a variation in the signature, but usually a sculpture is signed with the same way, in the same way. Yes.
I want to share that with everybody that Nick, Aaron, and Hus and me, we're working on this and we kind of identified 3 or 4 hands forging paintings. And two of them is really bad, like eyesore, you can detect immediately. Unfortunately, there is 1 or 2 hands pushing out fake paintings the last 4 or 5 years. Many of them sold through art galleries and auction houses, and oftentimes they are decent quality, but we follow them and we have ideas where these paintings coming from, this forgery, and we closely monitoring the situation. Fortunately, the forger making mistakes regularly, which I don't want to talk about it, but this meant to be a message that eventually we're gonna get them. We're coming.
Yes. It's work in progress. Yes. Yeah. That's, I think that's, we don't want to focus too much on the fake ones. We saw a lot of great art today, I think. I think it was great. Is there anybody who wants to discuss something on the topic of Floyd? Want to share something? And
But I just want to share that I was super happy to see faces I know and people I heard about, and I would
yes,
love to talk more and meet with them because I know one thing for sure about them that they either knew Floyd or definitely they know his art. I'm super happy to see Linda here, who wrote that amazing book about outsider art and she met with Floyd in person. I'm super happy to see John Silva, who I had a meeting recently, and definitely I want to meet with him regularly, and I might want to see him on the board of our nonprofit because he knew him and he has a beautiful collection of sculptures, and also he's a respectable businessman. And yeah, I see many other faces. Richard Moore, the living legend. He's quiet. I mean, I know we have limited time, but my idea is, who's that we need to do this regularly because I mean the whole event probably does not sound legit if Richard is not speaking up, you know, or Robert, or all these people. And this is good to see and know that there's people here with knowledge, and we're gonna need to collect this in writing or as an oral history. because soon somebody gonna organize a big exhibition and a proper big book about him. So we want to hear about from everybody.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for ways to do this more regularly, to contact people. Doesn't have to be video, but yeah, if this works, if people like to come and talk about it regularly, we could organize something. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I thank the speakers. I thank the participants. I hope it was interesting. We are going to continue with this project, and I will send you an email with an update on the presentation. This is recorded. It will be published eventually after some editing, but I will send to you the shared collection of Aaron presentation on the YouTube and some other relevant links if you like. It was great to see you all. We can end the official part now, and if people want to talk, I can just keep it open if you want.
I just want to say that thank you for doing this. Thank you for organizing this, because many of us we working on this Kuptana oeuvre, but you put an unbelievable amount of time and energy in this whole thing, and you're doing it now for 4 years probably, or 3. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you all. I got another call now to go to in Belgium, but it was very
Okay.
good. Thank you all.
Thank
Aaron,
you very
nice
much,
to
Aaron.
see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Ciao.
Okay, for those who have to leave, they can leave, of course.